Okay, hello everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today again on another episode of the BNC Academy. This is Mr. Mdango speaking. Yeah, I'm your business coach, entrepreneurship trainer, and the Mr. Automator. So today I'm so honored to be on the call with one of the icons, one of the people that I used to see on the stage, you know, without even knowing how can I reach out to those people. But fortunately enough, and I thank them for allowing me to actually talk to them, and they were so kind enough to come on the call. So today we do have got Mr. Reggie Bates all the way from California, right?
Oh, yes, I'm in California.
Yes. How are you, Mr. Reggie?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. How are you doing? I hope your viewers are doing well too.
I believe so. I believe so. But this side we are doing very well. We are doing very well. And yeah. So how are things happening that side with the COVID?
You know what? I'm in San Diego, California, and honestly, life seems like it's normal around here. I know a lot of entrepreneurs are doing very, very well. A lot of them had to transition their businesses online, which is something we all probably should have done in the first place. So, we're moving along as great as we can.
Great. That's so great. Yeah, because that's one thing that we also learned, of adapting. So we actually learned to adapt. Okay, great.
The only bad part about this is I don't get to travel to South Africa as much as I used to. I've been to South Africa, I believe, 45, 50 times over the last few years.
Oh, yeah.
As you know, because you've seen me there several times.
Oh yes, yeah. I've attended to some of the seminars in Johannesburg and actually in Cape Town, and I know you have been there. And I love the energy.
I enjoy the people there. I enjoy the culture there. I enjoy the food there as well.
The food. Great. Okay, so tell me something. Who is Mr. Reggie Bates? I know this is one of the biggest questions. Yeah, but tell me, yeah, in a nutshell, who is you?
Yeah, in a nutshell, I'm an entrepreneur. I consider myself a business investor. I like investing in people and businesses. I'm also a speaker. I speak all over the world. I even speak all over the world now. Since we're in lockdown, I could still do it virtually, which is really great. I'm also an author of the best-selling book, Mindset for Success, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about. And I also coach entrepreneurs, speakers, authors, literally from almost every continent, literally all over the world, to really, take them from where they are to where they want to be. I'm also a mindset coach. I work with the top percent of entrepreneurs all over the world. So there's a lot of different things that I do. I own multiple businesses here in California as well. So I have a lot of fun in business. I enjoy business. I enjoy speaking. I enjoy coaching people and really helping people to bring out the best of themselves and to really tap into the potential that a lot of us don't think that we have, and just really tapping into that potential and really lifting people to their highest levels.
Wow, that's a very long introduction and a very long description. So tell me, I understand at some point you didn't have all these things that you are doing right now. So how did you progress to be this Reggie Bates that we just had right now? How did you progress to get there?
I think I did a lot of. I was very naive, and I started my business. I started really being interested in business at the age of 21. I was fresh out of university. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. My friends at the time were still, figuring out what they were going to do. They weren't really, they were thinking about the past, and I was thinking about the future. Mm-hmm. So, and unfortunately, they don't give you a manual that says, okay, this is the next step. So honestly, what I did, I was watching TV one day, and I saw a gentleman who, by the name of Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins is a motivational speaker that I'm sure a lot of your viewers know. Mm-hmm. He's been around for a very, very long time. And I made the decision that I wanted to be like him. I wanted to have the mindset that he had. I saw him on TV, and I felt like he was speaking directly to me. And fresh out of university, I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. And he was located in San Diego, California. And I actually moved to San Diego because I wanted to meet him, and I wanted to be in the environment that he was in. And long story short, I got that opportunity. I took action. I had the audacity, and that's a word that I use a lot, you know, having the audacity to do the things that you want to do, having the audacity to start a business when you've never had any business experience, or having the audacity to be the first person that maybe graduated from university in your family. You know, I try to tell my audiences to really have the audacity to do those things, because it's only impossible until someone does it. So I leaned on great people. I had great mentors. I hired coaches, and I really put myself in a position where I took a lot of chances. I took a lot of risk, and I can afford to take those risks because I was in my 20s. And I didn't have, you know, I just didn't, you know, what was the choice? So I think when you lean on great people and you take massive action, and you receive, you know, feedback and coaching and consulting from those who are walking down the path you choose to walk down, I think that's a pretty good formula for success. And that's exactly what I did.
Wow, taking action is the key. Yes, yeah, they say education is the key, but I go with taking action. Taking action is the key that can unlock everything.
Wow. Yeah, I know a lot of people with education. There's a lot of people with education that you and I both know, but they're not taking action. And I recently talked about that. You know, there's people we all know someone who is smarter than we are. They're brighter than we are, you know, or let me rephrase that. We all know someone, we're smarter than them, we're more educated than them, right? And they're more successful than we are.
Yeah.
That doesn't really make sense, but it happens because they take action, they align themselves with great people, because there's textbook knowledge and then there's real life knowledge. And really you need both, you know, to really apply it in your life. But if I had to pick between the textbook knowledge and life experience, I would take life experience all day long, right? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with education. I went to college, I went to university, I went to college, but I learned far more from my lessons in life as opposed to my lessons in education.
Wow, wow! Because really, education most of the time it's book information. So yeah, it's just there's no practicality in that. Yes, yeah. Because
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're gonna do.
And books are great. You know, we need that. I'm a reader. I read a lot. I write a lot. But here's the thing: if you're going to learn how to swim, if you read 10,000 books of how to swim, I dare you to dive in the pool, right? You need someone. You cannot learn how to swim by reading a book. You need someone in the pool with you to tell you exactly what you have to do. And that's how it is when we're, you know, in our life, when we're growing in our life, things in our life, our relationships, our money, our businesses, whatever the case may be. We have to lean on those who are going to be willing to hop in the pool with us so they can teach us the things we need to do, in addition to the things we learn in the books.
Wow. So on your progression, you also spoke about you identified Tony Robbins and so on. So how important is identifying the icons that you can follow on what are they doing for somebody who wants to actually grow their own business? How important is it to look for mentors and for coach? We're still gonna go into the challenges, but I just want to know on how important it is. What role did it play in your success?
Well, you know, there's an old saying, I'm sure you've heard it, you know, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I've always believed that. A lot of us, we're trying to seek those, you know, we're trying to look for those individuals. What we need to do, we need to take action on some of the small things that we can do ourselves. And once we take that action, and once we have the right mindset, we start to attract those people in our lives. I was never out there looking for anyone, for the exception of Tony Robbins, because I saw him on TV, and this is when I was just getting started in my career. But after that, you know, I changed my mindset, and I started taking action, and I started hanging around the right people. And it's almost like this wall came down where I was being noticed. Because even when I left Tony Robbins after 12 years of working alongside with him, you know, even when I left, and this was during the time where, you know, we were facing one of the biggest recessions in the United States. It was more like a world recession. You know, the real estate market, the banking industry, the auto industry, everything was just falling apart. And this is the time where I left Tony Robbins. But guess when I left, I had all these people calling me and wanted me to work with them because they understood who I was, they knew my brand, and they knew I was a good person to work with. So when you start creating these, you know, when you start taking action and you start aligning yourself with the right people, those opportunities are going to come automatically.
Wow, I love that you have to be prepared. Once you are prepared, the teacher will show up. Wow, but
always have to be prepared. Always have to be prepared. You know, even if you're in an opportunity now, you must prepare for the next opportunity, right?
Oh, wow.
That's so important. I'm always looking for opportunities, and most opportunities are found during time where people are living in fear, like
yes,
today.
Yes, yeah.
There's so many opportunities out there today. It's unbelievable. I see them every day, more so now than before COVID. You know, because it just depends on our focus. You know, some people are focused on, you know, I was talking to my neighbor the other day and he was like, oh my goodness, can you believe all these businesses that are just not going to be here anymore? And I said, I know, but can you believe all the new businesses that are as a result? So it depends on what I'm focused on one thing, he's focused on another, right? I'm focused on growth. He's focused on, you know, I'm focused on the future. He's focused on the past. I'm focused on things I can control. He's focused on things he cannot control. Because I can control the future, but I can't control the past. So that's how my mindset has been for a very long time. And I think that's why I get results. You know, it's not like I'm the smartest person in the room. I'm the least smartest person in the room. Hence the reason why I grow so much.
Wow, that's so amazing. But tell me something. For example, those big people that you were working with, they were there, and then you were on this level, but you found your way there. So tell me, what were some of the challenges that you actually faced along the journey, and how did you deal with it?
I think one of my biggest challenges at first was I had a lot of limiting beliefs.
Right?
And limiting beliefs are, they're just so bad. It's cancerous. You know, it's stories that we tell ourselves as to why we can't do something, or why we don't take action, or why we are not where we are in life. You know, and it's like these voices in our head, and they're just arguing with each other with negativity, right? So once I identified all my limiting beliefs, and boy, I had a lot of them. You know, I had all of my limiting beliefs. And I remember I was in a room with Tony Robbins one day. We were in a boardroom at his offices here in San Diego with about 8 other people. And he says, I want you all to write down every limiting belief that you had. And this was probably the easiest assignment anyone has ever given me, because the words were just flowing. I mean, I had so many of them. I'm too young to be successful. You know, I'm not going to be able to do it because of whatever reason. You know, I had all these excuses. I'm not ready. You know, I'm too young. I don't have enough education. You know, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough mentors. The list went on. And I remember he said, you know, I want you to now write down in the second column what your new belief is going to be as a result of this exercise. And that was a little tougher, but I had to really think. But it was just making that paradigm shift in the way that you think, because all those things that I had limiting beliefs about were things that haven't even happened, right? Things that haven't even happened, right? So I know that I'm in control of my destiny. I know that I'm in total control of my success. And I know that if I don't succeed and if I fail, I own that. I just have to get back on my feet and make it happen again. And I failed several times. And a lot of people don't become successful because they're afraid to fail. And, you know, failure is part of the playbook of success, as long as you don't make the same mistakes that got you to the failure. You know, we learn far more from things that we fail in life versus things that we succeed in life. We don't succeed at something and say, oh my goodness, what did I learn from that? You know, we look at what we failed at and say, you know, that was a tough one. You know, how can I change? What are we going to do to make sure this never happens again? And that's how you do it.
Wow. Limiting beliefs is one of the things that I was, even right now, I'm still also fighting with most of them, you know. But one of it was like, I'm not good enough. I'm coming from a third world country. So how can I go there? How can I do? But if I can tell you that by the time I started tackling them one by one, I found myself having audiences who are actually attending my summit and who are also buying my courses from over 18 countries globally. And then I said, but if I didn't fight this limiting belief, where was I going to be? Wow, that is so.
And you mentioned that, you know, maybe a limiting belief was, you know, I come from a third world country, right? But I know a lot of people who live in third world countries and they're very successful, more successful than people who don't live in third world countries. So you can live in a third world country as long as you don't have a third world mindset. So, you know, a lot of people say, you know, Americans are best when it comes to like marketing and business and branding. Well, that's great. You know, you may be South African, but think American when it comes to marketing and branding. So it doesn't matter, you know, where you're from. It doesn't matter where you're from. I mean, I work with people all over the world, and I see people, and my belief has always been that, you know, we all are born on different parts of the field. And some people are born right there. They're very lucky. They're born right there at the goal line, and all they have to do is cross over and they're there. And others, they're either in the middle of the field or they're on the other opposite side of the field. But here's the reality. The reality is we all have the opportunity to cross the finish line, no matter where we are. Some of us have to work harder than others. However, we still have the opportunity to cross the finish line. And, you know, and you own it. You just have to accept it and say, you know what, I own this. I'm no longer going to accept the fact that I'm going to live like this. You know, I want to do something big to make it happen. And once you make that decision, then you have to, you know, work with someone to create the action plan to really get there.
Wow. I love the fact that we all have the opportunity to cross the finish line. But not everybody will cross that finish line, but only those that are determined, those that are taking action towards crossing that finish line. Wow. Right. I love that.
It's very true. It's very, very true. And, you know, you have to take action. You know, there's this, you know, phenomenon that used to be really big called the law of attraction. You know, you think of something and you manifest it.
Yeah.
But that's only going to happen. I never did like that, because I saw people who were just waiting for things to happen, but they weren't doing anything. So I'm a believer in the law of attraction, but I think it should be called the law of action, because it's the action that's going to get the result, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people plan, and they never execute, because they think that planning is executing. They think that planning is taking action, you know? No, I want to drive the car. I just don't want to build it. Some people have been building the car all their lives. You know, you have to drive it to really enjoy it, the essence of it. So you have to really take action as you're planning. Very, very important. And I tell people all the time, always start before you are ready. Always start before you are ready, because you're never going to be ready. Wow. And you have to start things before you're ready. I always take action with things, you know, with goals that I have before I'm ready, always.
Wow. Always take action before you are ready. That's a very point to note. Great. So I also believe that maybe these limiting beliefs that you had, it's also part of the reason that made you to write the book, The Mindset for Success, because the limiting beliefs, they are not happening next door, no, they're happening in here, you know. So yeah, so so tell me about that. Tell me about your journey towards writing that book, and why did you write the book, The Mindset for Success? And after all topics, why The Mindset for Success?
Well, you know, I looked at why most people fail. I mean, there's reasons why people fail in business, but like outside of the main reasons like marketing and client retention and all of that, you know, I looked at all the successful people and all the successful people in my life and successful people that I've met, I've had the opportunity to interview or whatever the case may be. And they all have something in common. They all have a really good mindset. They all have a really good mindset. You know, they don't wake up in the morning like some people and say, why me? They wake up in the morning and they say, why not me? Right? So it's a different attitude. It's almost like they're wired differently. And I was always fascinated, not by people's success, but I've always been fascinated on the journey, the road they took to get that success. Like Oprah. Wow. If you looked at Oprah, if you were, let's say, 15 years old at the same time that Oprah was 15 years old, and Oprah looked you in the eye with all that she was going through, because she went through a lot, right? Yeah. If she looked you in the eye and said, I'm going to become a billionaire by the age of 40, most people wouldn't believe her. I have a really good mindset. I wouldn't even believe her because of the circumstances that she was in. Yeah. I couldn't even fathom that, right? But you know who believed it? She did.
She did.
And that's my point. It just takes one person to believe, even if there's people in your life telling you what you cannot do, it just takes one person to believe, and that one person is you. That's the only fuel you need to get started, is making that belief that you can do it, right? Wow. And you've already changed your mindset because you've already accepted the fact that you can do it and you will do it, right? And now all these things are going to be, all these resources are now going to attract themselves to you because of that new belief, right? So obviously there's different strategies that you need to do and different people that you need to align yourself to in order to make that a reality. Yeah. But the reason why I wrote the book is because I said to myself, success is a mindset. Oh, yeah. It's a mindset. And if we can have the mindset to succeed, then we will succeed. Because once we have the mindset, then we're going to be able to do the things that we need to do in order to be successful, right? And it all starts with the mindset. It all starts with knowing that we can do it, right? For some people, it's going to take longer than others. But secondly, also knowing that you deserve it. Because a lot of people do not think they deserve success for whatever reason. I struggled with that, a little bit. I felt like it just came too fast, or, I see people working so hard and I don't really have to work that hard to really make it happen. What's the difference? And I think it's our mindset. So that's why I wrote the book, and I interviewed several people, and I found out that the common denominator with people who are successful is they take a lot of action, they manage their time effectively, and they have a great mindset, and they align themselves with great people. And they'll be the first to admit they didn't do it themselves. It took, a village of people who they leaned on to make sure they did it. And I'm no different.
Wow. That's so very true. I loved also the point that you just said, like, it takes one person to believe in you, and that person is you. You need to believe in yourself first before you do anything. And even though, for example, right now, if we can take everything that Oprah owns, she can still rebuild her empire again the same way that she did, and she'll do it faster.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And I talk about that in the book. There's people who there was a book that was written in California where I live. We have a California lottery every week, and it's worth a lot. I mean, it's worth a lot, like millions, like 50 million per week or something like that. But most people who pay to play the lottery, they don't have the mindset to succeed. They don't think, most of them don't even think they're going to succeed on their own. Hence the reason why they play the lottery every week, because they don't have to do anything. It's all luck. But they found that the people who won the lottery, most of them did not have the mindset to succeed, or they did not have the mindset of being a millionaire, yet they were getting millions of dollars, overnight because they won. And what they found is that most of them lost the money in a very short period of time. It caused divorce. It causes families to separate. And most of them are in a worse place today than they were before they even got the money, because they didn't have the right mindset, right? That's why you can take someone who has a lot of wealth, like an Oprah, or someone like that, or a Richard Branson. You can strip them of everything. And what's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen after you strip them of everything and they lose everything? What do you think happens in a very short period? They'll bounce back. Yes. And they do that. Absolutely.
And the bounce back stronger.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the same thing happens with people who don't have the mindset to succeed or don't have the mindset of a millionaire, you give it all to them. You give them millions,
Yeah.
and it's gone, right? It's
Yeah.
gone. So that's a really big lesson.
Wow. Wow. I
Even if
love.
you don't consider yourself successful today, and even if you want to be a millionaire, whatever the case may be, or whatever success means to you, because success means a lot, different things for different people. Act as if, put yourself in that role, adopt the habits of the people you want to be like. What are some of the characteristics? What time do they wake up? What do they read, right? What are they doing? Where do they hang out? Do they hang out at a bar after work, or do they go to a networking meeting, a business networking meeting after work, so they can increase their skills and align themselves with like-minded people who can really help them to get to where it is they want to be.
Wow, that's so powerful, Reggie. That's very powerful. But tell me something. With all this knowledge and everything that you are literally getting, and things that you now know right now, what is the number one thing? Yeah, I'm gonna put you on spot. Yeah, I'm gonna put you in the corner. What's the number one, or your top two or top three advice that you really think that you knew, or somebody advised you that before you embark on the journey? What is it that you wish? Oh my goodness, I wish I knew this before I started my journey. What is it?
That's a really good question. So, if I knew then what I know now, wow, that would really be a game changer. Not just for me, but I think it would be a game changer for all of us.
Yeah.
Because no matter how successful we see ourselves today, or no matter how much we've grown, we always ask ourselves, what could we have done differently had we had the knowledge, back then that we have today. And I think for me, I think I would have, I think my growth, although in some people's eyes it went fast, but I think I could have gone a lot faster, because even though I had a high awareness of my mindset, I still had some limiting beliefs. I was given opportunities by Tony Robbins and his organization that I didn't think I deserved. And sometimes I struggled with it because I had issues trying to figure out if I deserved it. So once I got over that, I did very, very well. I think that, there's a lot that I know in business today that I didn't know then, because when I was with Tony Robbins, I didn't have my own business. And I think that's one of the things I would have done. I did not have my own business because I was too busy building his businesses under his brand. And I could have had my business and ran his business at the same time, but I didn't do that. So that's something that I definitely would have done, because when you have your own business, you can build your own wealth.
Oh yes.
And you can do your own things because you own it. So I think that's one of the most significant things that I would have done. Believe it or not, I was not even a speaker when I was with Tony Robbins, and I think my speaking career would have started a lot earlier. And one of the reasons why is because I had a fear of speaking. So I got help, and I got over that fear rather quickly. And that's when I started doing what I love. Out of all the things that I do the most, speaking and really coaching and helping people all over the world and getting people from where they are to where they want to be, that's what I enjoy doing the most. And I wish I would have done that a lot sooner.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. So out of all, I'm sure, Baba, right now you can see that the most common issue that you was actually there is the issue of the limiting belief. If you knew that okay, I think I can also start my own business. I think I can also start speaking. I think I can also start this. Back then, maybe by now you could be far than where you are right now. But anyway, everything happens in the good time. Yeah.
Again, it goes back to focus and being focused on what we control versus what we can't control. So I don't focus on that.
Yes.
Because I never focus on anything that I cannot control.
Yeah.
But for me to get over that, I just move. I do things differently today. And I take more risk, and I really just put myself out there. You have to put yourself out there, and that's another thing. I didn't know anything about branding. Branding's a huge thing. I didn't know anything. I knew what a brand was, but I didn't know how important it was to have a personal brand. And you know, and had I known all of that, you know, that's part of business, but I didn't know about running my own business. I only knew about running Tony's business and the division that I was managing. I did it very well, but that was my world and that's all I knew.
Wow. That's all, man. Then let me pass this question from one of the listeners, because before we jump on, before we start actually the question, the interview, I asked some of the few people, say, you know, Reggie, what is the question that you might think or that you want him to also address to you? So, and then one of us said is that what is the best advice that you can give to somebody that is thinking of transition from being an employee who is working at a certain company to start their own business? Yeah. So what is the best advice that you can give to those people so that they can also thrive in their new business? Yeah, but they're still in the transition process.
Okay, so first of all, let me preface this by saying the fact that this person is 32 or in their 30s is so irrelevant, because even if you told me the person was 21, it's irrelevant. Even if you told me the person was 55, it's irrelevant. 80 years old, it's irrelevant. It really is. So my advice to that person, and thanks for the question, is what you need to do first is you need to get yourself from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset. There's two different mindsets.
Yeah.
So you need to go from employee mindset to entrepreneur mindset. Once you develop that entrepreneur mindset, now you have a new way of thinking and you're going to have a new way of doing things. I tell people all the time, you cannot be an entrepreneur with an employee mindset. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with, you know, having an employee mindset. There's nothing wrong with being an employee. That's a choice. It's a choice I don't choose, but it's a choice, and that's okay. But you have to transition and make that mindset and have that mindset. Secondly, you have to really, you know, decide on what it is you want to do. And what's important when you do this is you have to make sure that you get rid of any limiting belief that you have. What is it that you can see yourself doing? What is it that you're really great at doing? And more importantly, does it solve a problem? Because every business that booms, every business that's a successful business, and the businesses that get paid the most money, the people who get paid the most money are the ones who are solving the biggest problems. So what problem can you solve? And the bigger problem that you solve, the more money that you're going to make. The bigger problem that you solve, the more opportunities that you're going to have and the more people you're going to have to solve those problems for. So you have to really identify that. And then you need to create an action plan on how you can launch it. You know, and one of the best ways to do that is to look at what some of your competitors are doing, right? And ask yourself, can I at least do what my competitors are doing? The second question is, what are your competitors not doing that you can do, right? Because now you're onto something, because now you're creating your brand, you're creating your uniqueness. You know, what's compelling about what it is that you do versus what other people in your space do. And then you just have to have a really good mindset, and you have to make it happen. You have to align yourself with great people. Because, you know, when you first started, most businesses fail, as you know.
Yeah.
The majority of businesses fail. And if you saw the number of businesses that fail versus the ones that succeed, looking at those metrics, no one would probably want to become an entrepreneur. But the people who are succeeding, it's not like they're doing something significant. They're doing small disciplines every day to succeed. The small disciplines that unsuccessful people either don't know how to do, or they do know how to do it, but they just refuse to do it.
Wow. So first you have to have this mind shift, this paradigm shift from being an employee to be an entrepreneur. Then
imagine running a business. Imagine running a business and you are the owner of the business. You have employees, right? You have clients, but you do not have an entrepreneur mindset. You only have an employee mindset. Imagine how long that business is going to last, because you make decisions differently. You know, an employee is 9 to 5, right? Yeah. An entrepreneur is 5 a.m. until it's done. That's different, because you own it. You know, as an employee, you can say, "Oh, I'll just do it tomorrow," or someone else will do it. You can't say that as an entrepreneur. You own it. You own it, right? And you own it, and you have to be all in. You have to be all in. You can't just partially be in. You have to be all in. You know, this is a business is very competitive, and you have to be on the cutting edge. And most people are either on the past or they're in the present in their business. You have to be in the future in your business so you can see the road ahead, so you can make decisions accordingly, so that you can continue to grow.
Wow. An entrepreneur have a 5 a.m. till it's done. Wow, that's so amazing. And you need to be in the future, not in the present or in the past as an entrepreneur. Wow, that's so amazing, Mr. Eddie. So to wrap this up, I'm enjoying this. I can't even believe it's almost time up, but I'm really enjoying this. Yeah, but so to wrap this up, what's your last advice or your closing remarks? And where also can we find the book? Is the book on Amazon or not? Right. So you can also.
I have a copy here. I wish I could send it to you, but you can find it on Amazon. Any major retail place online would have it. So Amazon's probably the best place to get it. And did you say last advice I can give you?
Yes, yeah. What's the last advice that you can also give? As your closing remarks.
I would say, I always focus on, where we are in the world today and what we're going through today with COVID-19 and all of that. And I know depending on where you are on the planet, it doesn't matter where you are on the planet. Everyone is going through this.
Yeah.
They're going through this, or someone has been affected by this. Maybe it was a family member, whether it's a business, maybe it's your favorite restaurant you can't go to anymore, or maybe it's just the fact that you can't see your families or whatever. But I'll tell you, now is the time to really educate yourself. And now is the time to really do things that's really going to take you to a higher level. Because the reality is, we're going to get through this. We're getting through this, the best way we can. And we will get through this, just like anything else. But now is the time for you to look for those opportunities. And even though a lot of you are living in fear right now, or maybe trying to figure out when this is all going to end, start asking yourselves better questions, and stop watching the TV and start reading things that are going to really inspire you. I mean, just logging onto the internet or logging onto Facebook, full of negativity, most of which is not even true. Even the news here in America, you turn the news on, you would think that the world was coming to an end tomorrow. Right? It's all negativity that they're feeding us. And it's not that there's not anything great going on in the world. There's a lot of great things going on in the world, but those things don't sell. Negativity sells. Bad things, right? That's what society wants. That's what society starves for. And that's why sometimes the first thing we do, we wake up in the morning, we want to see that negativity because it's feeding what we believe. And we actually like it. So my belief is that if you're going to feed yourself with things that are going to help you to grow. Align yourself with people who are going to inspire you, right? Give yourself permission to fail, as long as you don't make the same mistakes that got you there. And say to yourself, you know what? Figure out where you are on that field that I was talking about earlier, and ask yourself what you need to do to get over that finish line. And that's the key, because I can't control, nor you can't control everything that's going on in the world. I can't control COVID, but I can control it in my household. I can control it for myself. I can't control the global economy, but you know what? I can control my economy. Right? I can't control what's going on in other people's families or what they believe or what they think, but I can control what's going on in my family and what we believe and what we think, and the fact that we can be really good people to everyone. And if other people aren't like that, that's their problem, but that's how we are. So everything that we want and everything that we need is within ourselves. And if we just make the decision and to say that this is what we're going to do, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to become, this is what I'm going to make, this is the type of business I'm going to have, this is the type of woman I want to attract in my life, or whatever the case may be, you have to start asking yourself those questions, because when you ask a great question, you're going to get a great answer. If you ask a poor question, you're going to get a poor answer. So ask great questions. And I think that's my biggest advice to you. Ask better questions, put yourself out there, and always continue to be great.
Wow, there you have it. Ask great questions and don't worry about things that you cannot control. Worry about your own world, because you can only control what is around you. Wow, thank you so much. So please go on Instagram. You can search for Reggie Bates. You can follow him there. And also, I'm gonna ask him to give me the website, and maybe we can also put it there. And to those that are in America, you can also buy his books as well. I'm not sure if you are able to ship them, but also I've got a American audience as well.
You can, you mean to South Africa?
I mean, a local in America.
Is the book local or is it everywhere? The book's everywhere.
Oh, okay. Oh, great then.
Yeah. So if you're in South Africa, you know, if you buy the book, it'll ship from an Amazon location in South Africa.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just, you know, literally it's sold in over 35 different countries right now.
That's amazing.
It's an easy read because when I wrote it, before I wrote it, I said to myself, I want a very successful person to read this and say, okay, I get it. But I also want a 15-year-old to read it and say, I get it. Oh, wow. So I wrote it purposely for that. So you can be, you know, you can be a teenager and understand clearly what I'm talking about, or you can be a 45-year-old, wildly successful individual and know exactly what I'm talking about, or not successful, because that's what the book is for. It's really to really get you to think like a successful person and to really develop the disciplines of successful people, so that you can therefore become a success, whatever success means to you.
Wow, great. Thank you so much. Then there you have it. Go on Amazon, The Mindset for Success by Reggie Bates. You need to get it. Thank you so much, Mr. Reggie. This was the most important time for my day. And thank you so much for making time for us.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. I'll come back anytime.
Thank you so much. Okay.